This podcast was brought to you by the Tampa Bay Podcast Network.
The Lil Drummer Girl Podcast is your backstage pass to the music industry, designed especially for musicians, artists, and entrepreneurs eager to amplify their brand and master the art of self-promotion. Your host, Marie Mutel, will dive deep into conversations with industry insiders, sharing actionable insights, stories, and strategies to help fill seats at your shows, get noticed, and perfect your craft. Whether you're just starting out or looking to elevate your presence, this podcast is your go-to resource for turning passion into a thriving career. I'm so stoked because today I have one of my special guests who's returning on the show. Wesley Finley is here from the Rebelution band. If you're not familiar with Rebelution, they're an amazing reggae roots rock band, and they've been around for a long time. They started out in California, but they've been touring around and around and around for quite some time. So if you haven't heard them before, please go check them out. I have everything in the show notes for you to see some of their fun merchandise. They've got this amazing Frisbee that they came out with, which is mesmerizing, and I can't wait to get one for myself. But they just played over at the Reggae Fest over downtown St. Pete recently, and so I got a chance to see them and check out some amazing bands. If you haven't already, it's a yearly festival. They're coming twice a year, so it's 4 days long, and there's a little snippet that we have included here showing some of their performance from the festival, so you get a little taste. And he also talks about something that he's really involved with, which is really important, which is Keys for a Cure, and my book, 151 Secrets. For those of you who haven't already purchased it, 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the Keys for the Cure. So just go to 151secrets.com/keys, and all the proceeds from the book from this episode will go to donate to this amazing foundation. Also, I just want to let you know that since Wesley was on the show before, back in, I think, 2016, I think it's episode number 39, I've asked a couple of the same questions because when I first interviewed him, we were in the trailer and it was kind of loud. We were at the festival at the time. So I really wanted you guys to get a good listen on the answers. I'm adding in a couple of those same questions again, so I don't want you to think it's just repetitive, but that's why. I'll see you inside.
All right, who likes roots reggae music out here? All right, we're grooving. Nothing like you turn it up, I wanna lose it. Nothing like roots reggae music. And we're grooving. Nothing like roots reggae music. You turn it up, I wanna lose it. Nothing like roots reggae music.
Without further ado, let's get Wesley to enjoy his interview. Wesley, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so stoked. I love your music so much, and I just love watching you play. It was great seeing you Saturday night. Thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been a minute since we last spoke, and I was saying it was 2018, and it is a while ago. What have you been doing in the last 6 years? I've been doing a lot of touring, a lot of new album making. What have you been doing?
Yeah, well, I think that the pandemic happened, somewhere in that zone, right, of Las Vegas. So,
unfortunately,
everyone knows what happened during that time. But so there's a little bit of a slow period, but not much. We had kept touring, doing our usual summer thing, which is usually about between 40 and 50 shows during the summer. So we did that every summer, and then the pandemic hit, and we were still able to tour. We just toured later that summer, like in October, I think. So yeah, it's been go, and recently started changing up our what we're going to do. So I think that this summer we're going to slow down a little bit and do like maybe a quarter of the shows, mostly on the West Coast, just because our singer had his second kid just recently, and so he just wants to spend some more time with the family. And yeah, we've been touring pretty hard for 15 years, so
it's a long time.
Yeah, so we could kind of use a break. Like I would love to enjoy a summer to go hiking and backpacking and do all this fun stuff everybody else gets to do while I have to work. So
Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
some of your Instagram feeds, and I'm like, oh, it's a great spot. It's like I see that you kind of get those little bouts in there in between.
Yeah.
I saw the one. Were you at the Dolly Museum the other day?
Yeah, it's actually where I got the shirt, Stays for
Very
Realism.
cool. It's a great
Yeah.
museum. Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah, that was my seventh time there, I think.
Oh
It's
wow. Okay.
yeah. Dolly is one of my he's my favorite artist. I actually have like I took one of his pieces.
Ah,
There's a giraffe in there and some other his
so cool.
iconography. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
he's my favorite artist. So I try every time we play St. Pete, Tampa area, I try to walk over there, bike over there, or whatever it is. And it was cool this time because they just did the 360 experience. They created a
Oh,
whole yeah, they built a dome and they have a movie that plays in it that's like kind of three-dimensional and kind of
no
goes
way.
in a linear format through his artwork and his life and stuff. So that was a cool change
Nice. I
experience.
haven't been there in a while. Last time I was there was for a party, an event, and it was just such a great space. And then they had the outside there, and it was just lovely. And I'm really glad that they put that there. Have you been to the one in Paris?
I hadn't, no.
It was very cool. Yeah, if you ever get out there, definitely check that one out. You'll
Okay.
love it there. They have the lips couch there that he did. It was very
Huh.
cool. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want that in my bedroom. But so I'm staring at that beautiful set that you have behind you. Can you tell us a little bit about that kit?
Yeah, this is my previous set. This is actually an SJC kit.
Oh,
Um,
very cool.
yeah, it's mahogany and it's a funny story because when I first got this kit, I had like a green vinyl wrap around it, and we jumped straight into a winter tour after that, like playing through like Columbus, Ohio, and like always snowy places that were like pretty cold. And the vinyl actually cracked because the drums expanded
Oh,
with the
wow.
temperature change, the constant temperature changes. So just had them take off the wrap and we're like, oh, the wood's actually beautiful underneath this. So like I just had them refinish the wood and it's actually more beautiful as
Definitely.
as the natural, grain of the wood than it was the wrap that I had envisioned anyway. So
What is the kit that you're playing now?
Kit now is a DW who I'm actually sponsored by.
Nice.
Sponsored
Congratulations.
by yeah, thanks. It's a low level sponsor, but it's something, I've always, thought DW was the best. And so and I lived in Santa Barbara and they were based in Oxnard, which is like 45 minutes south. So it just made sense. I knew people who worked there. And then they also own LP now, right?
Oh,
So
really?
for
I didn't know
percussion.
that. Huh.
Yeah. I have a percussion sponsorship with LP too. So all the
Nice.
stuff you hear, a lot of the percussion you hear on our records was played with LP stuff as well.
LPs. I love LP. And do you use electronic kits at all?
Yeah, if I can turn the camera, I actually have electronic here.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, and I actually, to be honest, I spend more time practicing on that kit just because it has that built-in mixer where I create our set list based off of rehearsals and I can just play along to that.
Oh, nice.
It just helps me prepare better to play along to that, in addition to like the noise factor and
Sure.
being able to like do different tunings and play around with some fun stuff like 808 kits and stuff. So it's just, I don't know, when I'm at home, it's just more kind of fun to experiment and easier to rehearse on the electronic kit.
Because I just broke down my electronic kit because I've had it, I don't know, since 2000, I guess. And I went to go look at maybe buying another one. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean $2,200? Like it was like, it blew my mind that it got that expensive for them. And because I hadn't really been looking to buy anything for a while. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'm going to go pull back out of the storage locker and put it back together again. I always said, because
Yeah.
apartment dwellers, it's a great, instead of having the acoustic kit, it just gets very loud. And even with the dampers on it, it's still really loud. So it's really an amazing thing that they came out with that. And I just saw some guy on Instagram I think it was called Aero Guitar or something like that. And he had plugged in these drumsticks and he's just playing in the air. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's funny. My bassist just sent me that yesterday. It must be a viral video right now or
Yeah, it
something.
came
But
out yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get those. I said I've been waiting decades for that thing to come out, you know. But
yeah, look pretty cool.
how long do you practice for before you go on a tour? Just separately
Um,
rather than with the band itself.
yeah. So we'll create the set list typically through email and texting, and then once we kind of, get a semi-final idea of it, then I'll go back through our recordings and put it together in like Logic, and find the best versions of those songs, and then just so I can play streamlessly through the set,
Mhm.
because I think that helps with endurance, which is like a big thing when you're playing an hour and a half set. Like it takes a while to get there to where you're not just mentally exhausted, or your forearms can take it, or your wrist or whatever. So I think it's important to play through the set as seamlessly as you can. Then you develop that muscle memory also about like what song's coming next and transitions and stuff. So that's how I prefer to practice on my own. But I'll typically do like, a couple times a week, a couple weeks before, and then leading up closer, I'll start practicing more and more. And then so that way I just feel really fresh going into our group rehearsals, and then it's on to the real kit. So when we get to band rehearsals, so then it's more about just adjusting from the electronic kit to the real kit, and using in-ears and all, the stuff that comes with live playing.
Did it take you a while to get used to wearing the ear monitors when you're playing live like that?
It did. It's just one of those things, like when you're scrubbing it as a band, playing really small venues and stuff, and you're coming up, some people are like apprehensive about it, but the sooner you dive into it, the better, the sooner you're going to get used to it. So I think I was the first person in my band that was willing to try them out. And I remember it was in another Ohio like basement type of venue, and it was just so loud, and it just made so much sense to try it there, because I'm behind a super loud drum kit with like concrete walls. Like,
Okay.
your ears are, one of the more valuable things as musicians.
Absolutely.
So, like, the sooner you can, get that noise level down, the more longevity you're going to have throughout your career. So yeah, it's every artist, it's got to do it eventually, especially drummers.
Do you have any rituals that you do like after going on tour? Like I'm sure your body, your hands, and everything else is kind of saying, "What are you doing to me? I need a break." Do you do anything special for that?
Yeah, after tour, I get a massage once a week on tour. Just that's like almost a must.
Yeah.
But so as soon as I come home, I'll do that. And I mean, I won't play the drums for like a month probably when I get home.
I can imagine.
Yeah, those specific muscles are just so fried. And try not to drink for a week or two if I can, because I've probably been drinking every night that we've been playing, like to some extent. Um, I do
It
all the
goes like
opposite things, like we have to socialize on tour. So I kind of become a hermit for a little bit. So it's just undoing all the things that I did do on tour.
that makes sense. I mean, it is a really hard thing to do to just stay up and on all the time for, night after night after night. And
Yeah.
especially as a drummer, I mean, I know, I don't know how singers do it either, because the vocals just get so strained after a while, but drumming is such a physical thing that, even when I was playing my little band we would do 4-hour shows, and it was like, and it would be,
Wow.
in Treasure Island dripping sweat. And I'm like, oh my God, with my little fan. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why am I doing this? But
Yeah.
uh but it's
I
really
can-
it's a lot of fun. But then you find that you're drinking more beer or something like that because it's so damn hot. And
Mhm.
yeah, but I do miss that. But have you ever had any like major things go wrong on stage while you're performing? Like I just saw what happened with the Expendables the other day. That was interesting. Did you see that? I don't know if you were there for that, but
Uh, what happened? I
they
think I
kind of like
heard.
lost the power. It was just kind of really, it was a big mess up. And I know the lead singer was out or something to begin with, so they just had a rough time about it. But they
Yeah.
recovered quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually that happens on tour, like where you lose power, you just got to stop and then start again or whatever. But I think that some of the worst things is like when you're playing a set and your in-ears go out, right? And
Mm,
that's like hard as a drummer, because you're trying to figure out, you're trying to keep everybody on time, but you just have to trust your own instincts at that point and play what you know, because they're following you. So
Right. Yeah.
but but you're also following the vocals for, the structure of the song
True.
to know where you are. So it's like, if you can't hear that, then you're kind of screwed. So like losing in ears is probably like one of the worst things that can happen. But yeah, electronics fail all the time too. Sometimes, I have electronic kick and snare in addition to the Roland, SPSX pad that I have on stage, and sometimes that stuff malfunctions. So it's just like, you never know. You got to be good at not stressing out too hard and be willing to improvise in some other way to keep it going.
Right. Like the show must go on,
Yeah, yeah, so they say
So,
that.
I forget who I think it was Ken Mary I was talking to one time, and he's saying, this chandelier just kind of like crashing down on the stage behind him, and he just like kept playing, and
Oh yeah,
it's just crazy stuff can happen. So I always say, be prepared for the worst, because you just never know what can happen. And
yeah.
the smaller gigs you get too, the less you're going to have
Uh-huh.
people running around doing things for you. So sometimes you got to recover yourself and things like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I see that you involved with this Key for a Cure. Can you tell us a little bit about what they do and how you got involved in that?
Yeah. So they help with childhood cancer, leukemia, that type of thing. So they're a branch under St. Jude. So if you know what St. Jude
Okay.
is, right?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're, yeah, so they're a more local a version of that, and that came my way through family friend. Um, I'm an only child, and so my friends are like my brothers. So there's a family that has like three brothers, two sisters, and I just spent a lot of time with them as a kid. So they kind of became family in a way. And one of the women lost their young son to childhood cancer, and so they worked with St. Jude, but they kind of came up with Key for a Cure because they wanted to improve the way research was done, and how those cures are found, and like devoting, channeling money into better methods that way, preventative measures. And so it's a noble cause. Like when I think about things I like to support, it's, like kids are helpless, kids and animals, I would say, are like, like sometimes like we as adults make our own choices, that, like that I can understand, I can understand how that came to be, like why they made some bad decisions and stuff, but like kids and animals like don't have that choice all the time. So I think they are worthy of a little more help than some other causes. Personally, that's the way I think about it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so in terms of that, and then also being family friends, it's just the way I wanted to devote my charitable time.
That's great. Do you hold performances to raise money for it? How do you get involved with it?
Yeah. Yeah, I help raise money that gets donated to them through a lot of like my disc golf activities.
Oh, cool.
And then they have galas and charity events where they do auctions and raffles and stuff. And so I'll raffle off tickets to see us, or festival tickets, or like a merch bundle, or like signed vinyls or drum heads,
Oh,
anything
nice.
Rebelution, anything like Rebelution, like tangible that I can get my hands on, and like that somebody would want to buy. I try to donate and raise money that way. But
I love that.
and overall just bringing awareness to them too. Like I help sponsor events, like the different golf and disc golf events, and then when you sponsor those events, you can put up your logo to be seen, right?
Right.
And
Oh,
so
nice.
I'll do that on behalf of Key for a Cure, so that they see some visibility, and like people, that it stays fresh in people's minds, like, oh, I've seen this company around, and like maybe I'll choose to donate them, or see what it's about, or I don't know. Yeah.
Are they looking to do like different like branching out into different locations, like to do different chapters of the Key
I'm
for
sure they
Cure?
would be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're small, medium. It's just
Right.
run by this family in a board, in a group of a board of just composed of some local people who are also trying to help. So they do funnel some money to St. Jude, I think, as well. But
Nice.
yeah,
Because I mean, I'm always up for however I can always help out. That's one of
yeah,
the things, I try to do. I try to give back wherever I can. So please let me know. And when they do something, so that if I can help somehow, I will, because I really, and children to me, they're just so precious. And it's just so sad that they have to go through these things at such a young age that they don't even
yeah,
know what's going on. I mean,
exactly.
and I never could understand, as a Christian, why God lets these things happen to kids, because they are so innocent. And I could see like a really rotten person happening to or something like that, but not these beautiful, innocent kids. And but it is amazing what St. Jude can do. And I'm so glad that they are there for the parents. Definitely, please
Yeah,
let me know, because I would love to help out wherever I can.
thank
I see that you've been putting out some stuff on vinyl too now, right?
Yeah, we always try to put out every album on vinyl. I kind of help with that, the design process of that too. And so yeah, we just put out Live in St. Augustine. Our
Nice.
last live album just came out on vinyl. So yeah, stoked about that, because the process, I don't know if you know, like for vinyl, takes
It's
quite a
tough.
bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, like there's only a few vinyl pressing plants, and like they're in uh one of the main ones is in Czechoslovakia.
Oh, wow. I
Like
wouldn't.
that. So yeah, it takes a while
Wow.
for it to get done. Like once you send them the audio files like that have been adjusted to accommodate for vinyl, then it's like a 6 month process or
Is
something
it
like
that
that.
long? Wow,
Something
that's
crazy. Yeah. So
crazy.
the artwork, like we decided like, I designed like what colors the vinyl was going to be, and I went through it with our assistant manager Lauren, like the layout and how the artwork's going to look. Like that was done like a year ago,
Wow.
and
I didn't
approving the
realize it was such a
software.
long process. I mean, I thought they could turn that around pretty fast.
No, I mean
Wow.
I think like in theory you could, but I think it's been so backed up, and I think that might have to do with COVID as well.
It could
There
be.
was it might be it just was has been constantly backed up that long, and
And a
it
lot of
definitely
people are also uh going to vinyl again, which is I'm so excited to see that,
yeah.
because I was going to ask you, it's sort of a question I have in my six-stroke roll rapid fire interview there, but
Mhm.
I just love, I mean, do you love playing vinyl? I mean, do you still play records and things like that? Or is it just,
Yeah,
okay. Because a lot
yeah,
of
that's what.
people stay away and, but I love it. I just,
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, I love it too. I don't, it's not as convenient obviously as like
right.
Spotify,
Yeah.
but it's like when you're at home and you have, I mean, I bought all my favorite records, that I love from
Nice.
front to back. Those are the ones that you like, because you're setting it and you're forgetting it. That's kind of the
Yeah.
point. So you've got to want to like the entire album for it to make sense, like to me at least. So I kind of just purchase vinyls or records that I like to listen to from front to back. And
Very cool.
yeah, so I don't have like a huge collection, but I have, I don't know, maybe like 50 or so.
Nice. What
And
kind
then I
of
have,
turntable do you use?
it's actually a semi digital one because it connects to our Sonos.
Oh, cool.
We have Sonos in our home. So
Very nice.
it's pretty cool because then you can play like something that's analog, and there's a
Wow.
converter that
And it converts
converts
it.
it.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So speaking of the six-stroke roll rapid fire interview, do you mind I ask you a couple quick questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Fire
right,
on.
cool. So, first question is, what's your favorite relaxation spot?
Favorite relaxation spot?
Mhm.
Oh, I have to say, just one of our Monterey beaches here. I live in Monterey, so I
Oh,
live by,
nice.
and there's something like mentally about staring at the ocean. It's like the blue theory or something like that, where it's like
Absolutely. You preach it to
and
the
staring at
choir here.
yeah. So there's something
Yeah,
relaxing about just staring at the ocean and smelling the salt air that helps reset a little bit. And I've grown up in this area, so it's actually hard for me, like when we're on tour and we're like in the Midwest or something and we haven't been by a body of water or the ocean for like 3 weeks, like it starts to get to you, like if you've lived by the ocean,
It's
grown up
true.
by the ocean. So it's
It's
like
true.
when I come home and I get off the airplane and I can smell the ocean air and like
Ah,
and see the water in the distance, it's just like
it's like I'm
it's grown
home.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I grew up in Brooklyn, but we had beaches and so close to where I lived that, and then I also lived in a town called Beth Beach on the bay there by the Verrazano. And it's just, I can't live without water. So it's funny, like you said, being in the Midwest, and I had spent some time in Michigan, and I'm thinking, where can I go? So I found the lake because I'm like, I need water. So being here in Tampa, I have all these beaches and things like that. And I'm always outside, editing, working outside, editing shows and whatever, because I just love, like you say, it's almost like it's a trigger for you to just relax. It's
Mhm.
like I've created that trigger. So every time I see water, I just go whoosh, let
Yeah.
all that stress go. And
Weirdo.
lives are so stressful today. I mean, I don't know how people live without having that body of water to go to. I said, even if you have a sprinkler system going, something to just hit
Kiddie
that.
pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But speaking of albums, what was the first album you ever bought?
First album I ever bought. Well, I think the first album I bought a few because it was through the that warehouse
Oh, yes, like
where you like,
Columbia,
yeah,
Columbia's.
yeah, or Columbia, yeah, yeah. Or
Mhm.
you send away and you pay a cent for like five of them, and the sixth one you pay full price, or
Yeah, I used to love
that
that.
deal was. Yeah, yeah. So I got Bob Marley Legend, I got Nirvana's Nevermind. Those were like the two main ones. I think I got like TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool.
Oh, cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
What would you
Yeah.
say is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Pet peeves. I think when people talk and don't listen, like they'll ask you a question, but then they don't even listen for the answer before talking over you. I don't know. It's just like if you're having a conversation like we are, you take turns and you listen to each other and then you speak. And it's just like, why are we even bothering if you're not even listening? Why would you ask a question if you're not even gonna listen to the answers? So, come on now.
I agree with that one. And I think a lot of people, I hate to say it like this, but it's almost like people today are so like, what about me? That what about me? What about me? It's like,
Yeah, that's another thing.
you
I'm
know,
sorry to interrupt.
no, it's okay. But
Yeah,
it's like, and I'm thinking, you know,
they have to compare like their your experience to they feel like they have to like it's not like
tit for tat.
like yeah they're not trying to one up you necessarily, they have to find a way to relate, so it's like, oh yeah, that happened to me once and this is what happened, and like, well, it's like everything has to come back on them, the same experience that they had for some reason, but it's like you can not have to do that every single time.
Very true. Very, very true. What was the first concert you ever went to?
That I can remember. My mom took me to see like a '90s country band at a local fair.
Oh, nice. Was it like a famous, like was it a single
No,
guy or like a big town? What do they call
no,
big town country?
yeah, no. I actually looked them up later just because of this memory. It's a band called Ricochet.
I like the
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. It's a cool
Love
name,
it.
and they were an actual band and not just an artist backed by a band, which is kind of cool too when you think about it.
Was
But
it like
yeah,
a
they
rodeo thing or is it just
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
think it was
fun.
in relation to a rodeo, yeah, we have there's a Salinas rodeo here, which is turned into a big thing. But yeah, this is a kind of a semi-equestrian um part of town. So yeah.
You talked about Monterey and I was like, oh, do you ever see that show Big Little Lies? Because I believe that's filmed out in Monterey there.
Yeah, yeah,
It looks
certainly
beautiful.
did.
It looks
Yeah,
amazing. I love California. But I've never been there. And I just said that's gotta get on my bucket list because it just looks amazing.
yeah.
What's that big bridge that they show? They keep showing this huge, beautiful,
Mhm.
bridge that goes over. Where does that take you to and from?
That takes you to Big Sur,
Oh, Big Sur. Okay.
pretty much. Yeah, that bridge is called the Bixby Bridge.
It's a very
Um,
cool looking
pretty
bridge.
Yeah, pretty popular tourist stop. That's at the beginning of Big Sur, and that's another one of the reasons why I moved back home is just Big Sur, if you're unfamiliar, is just like a huge expansion of semi-public land where you can do a lot of hiking and really get lost out there. And because of how steep the mountains are to the ocean. Not a lot of people live out there. It's not really like habitable,
Mm.
and everything relies on the one little highway that goes along the coast there, Highway 1. So it's a nice place to just like go get lost, and you don't have service.
Oh wow.
So it's
So
that's I love.
if you get lost, you're screwed, huh? It's like
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out finding you out there.
You gotta find your way back and wait for somebody else to come along, or
Wow.
but
Are there
when
a lot
I
of wild animals out there?
yeah,
Mm.
there's tons of yeah,
And like
bobcat.
rattlesnakes and things like that.
Yeah, mountain lions, I think it would be like the most dangerous. When I go out there, like seriously, overnight, I'll bring a, GPS phone,
Oh,
so
good.
like I can at least text like my fiance or my family.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, 'cause like I'm stuck up here and I can't get
Yeah.
down. That's gotta be scary. Ooh, okay. Who and when? Your first kiss, and who was it? And where was it?
Oh man. Um, it was I rode the bus with a girl on the same street who lived down the street from me, and I think our parents, knew that we kind of liked each other, so they let me come over there for dinner once, and I think I like helped make dinner, and she thought that was sweet, and she gave me a kiss for that. I think
That's
so,
cute.
yeah, yeah,
And,
early middle school,
awesome.
yeah.
Are you a Beatles fan?
I'm not like a diehard or like enthusiast, but I appreciate Ringo, what he's done, pioneered for the rest of us. Yeah.
Definitely. I was just going to ask, who is your biggest inspiration that made you become a drummer?
My biggest inspiration that helps the way I think about drums and try to be different is a guy named Dino Campanella from the
Okay,
band
no.
Dredge. Yeah. They're a lesser known band. They kind of went on hiatus, but they're an art rock band,
Oh,
and they got popular for a while, but they kind of fell off. And he's just crazy talented. The way he plays the drums is so physical, and he's very musical. He's really fluent on the piano.
oh wow.
I think his mom was a piano teacher and accordionist.
Oh, that's
Uh,
different. You don't hear that often.
yeah. So what's most impressive though is when you look up videos of this guy, Dino, he can play the keyboard a lot, and he does this at live. He plays the keyboard with his left hand and drums with the right. So he has that
No.
mind. Yeah, like
Wow,
it's
that's
just
really hard to do. Whew.
yeah. I've tried to do it myself. I can do like kind of a basic chord, but and a basic beat, but
But
like
he's actually like physically like playing the
he's
keys.
doing some stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
and then a breakdown in a song will come, and he'll just rest the keys on rest the drumstick on the top of the black keys, and then play like something during that breakdown, and then like start building back up, pick up the other stick, and then go into the chorus.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty
that's
cool.
amazing. That is amazing. And how old were you when you first started playing?
Middle school, like I first instrument I picked up was like just through a randomized process at school just to get kids to play music, and that was the mellophone, which is kind of like the French horn.
Oh, okay.
It's a basic version of the French horn. And I didn't like the way like the buzzing through the mouthpiece made your lips feel like
Oh,
kind of
that's gonna be
numbs them.
tough.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like I like music, but I don't like the way this feels on my lips. So like, what else can I do? So what else do you do? You pick up like a tambourine or a cowbell and you play percussion. Right? So that's really how it started. And I wasn't very good at first, and I just worked my way up, and something triggered in me, a musicality triggered in me around the beginning of high school, and I was really good at marching band and
A
pep
marching
band.
band, cool. People who are in marching bands, they usually like aren't really kit drummers, they don't usually take it to the next step.
Yeah.
Um, I often wondered why. I was like, why is it, because like even I was in an Irish band, Irish drum band, and they didn't play the kit. And I'm like, why not? you know, like it's
Yeah.
you get to the snare, but like how come you don't want to play a kit? Like I couldn't quite comprehend that. But do you
Yeah.
have
Honestly, I think a part of that, like at least when you're in, your developmental stages, is just like access to a kit or like being able to afford one.
true.
Like I've helped a parent out with like getting her kid drumsticks and a pad, like because she couldn't even afford that. Like, and their kid
Yeah,
really wanted to
that's well,
needed that.
the sticks today. I mean, I was like, what do you mean they're $30? I was like,
Yeah,
it's just a pair of woodwhackers. Like they used to be
yeah,
$15. Like, what do you mean they're 30? So I get that. And I mean, I did the same thing. I didn't have money for a drum set, and I was playing, pots and pans and anything else I could play. But and if it wasn't for the hand-me-downs from some people that I knew, I probably wouldn't have ever had a drum set, So but
yeah.
they are expensive, and I just wish there was this woman who I just found out about that plays with Billy Joel, and I forget the name of the group that she started. And I said I want to get involved in that because it helps the kids with music and getting them into the arts and keeping them in the arts, because I find that the schools today are, they're going further and further away from having the funds to to let the kids learn how to play and how to get into art and all that stuff. And it's so invaluable because it'll keep them off the streets and it'll keep them out of trouble, and who knows where it can take them. And so I want to reach out to her, and she's a drummer, she's a saxophonist, she's a singer. I mean, she's a percussionist, she just rocked. And I was like, oh my God. And it's funny because I had seen Billy Joel a couple times before, but I don't remember her. But and I see so she's been playing with them since '89. I'm thinking, where was I? Like, did I,
Yeah.
was it so far away I couldn't see her? I don't know, but I can't think of her name right now, but she's just amazing. Any words of wisdom that you would share with somebody who's new and up and coming into the industry? What would
I mean, besides, practicing as much as you can, finding ways to compromise so that your band gets together and that you enjoy playing with the people that you're supposed to be in a band with, and just, continuing to promote yourself and play as many shows as possible, because I mean, that's what we did. Was we just, played so many bar gigs, and writing good songs obviously is a major part of that too. You're
for
being
sure?
successful, but there's something to be said about just hustling and hard work and being tenacious. So
I
yeah,
love that you say that, tenacious, because without it, nothing happens. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a wish otherwise, and you can't
Right.
make
It's
that
not going to
dream.
fall in your lap,
That's right. That
It
is so true.
happened.
It's so true. And then the last question I have for you is, would you suggest that, okay, sometimes people, they don't have enough confidence maybe in themselves to go the distance, or they kind of say, oh, this isn't going to work out, and so they throw in the towel. You mentioned persistence, but like, where would you suggest somebody to go to try to get confidence, or to try to really build themselves up to getting to be a better performer?
Hmm, that is a good question. Um, I think maybe one way to do that is everybody does something well, right? Like whatever, you have other hobbies and other things that you do well, and so what makes you good at that, and like you can take confidence from those things, like. And so I'll remember, like, hey, I can do this really well. So if I put my mind to it, I can do this really well too. It's just, it's just a matter of time. It's like everybody's good at something. So just carry over that confidence, that same thought process from whatever it is that you do well already, into what you're trying to do well.
I love that. That's great. Thank you. Because there are so many people that I know that I've talked to, and they, they're all fired up about something, and then they start to fizzle out. And I'm like, no, you just got to keep pushing. And they're like, oh, but this one's so great. I'm like, yeah, but we all start at zero, you know?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was playing drums in my head at 3 years old. My sister, she's 16 years older than me. She was like banging those Beatle drums songs and the drum sets parts in my head. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. And,
Yeah.
you don't know. And as a girl growing up, I never saw any girl drummers until the Go-Go's, right? So I always say to people, you may not see anybody else doing, or you may not be around people doing the thing that you want to do. So you got to go find it, or, be around it. And then you may be inspired to do that thing, because you just don't know what it could lead to. I mean, you may not become an amazing musician, but it might get you working in the music business in a different direction that you love and enjoy. And, you just don't know where things are going to lead you. But I know I've had a very strange, life that I particularly didn't see happening. And I think back and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming, so it's just, I want people to feel like, if fear sets in, or insecurities or doubt, that they can push past that stuff, because that's the stuff that stops everybody to becoming that next great whatever it is. And whether it's music, or like I said, or anything else, it's so important for them to realize, like, you just need that, like they say in the Bible, a mustard seed of faith, to be and do and become. So,
Yeah.
I want to push people to really feel like it's okay. And, most families, when you say, oh, I'm going to be a rock star, they're like, yeah, okay, Charlie, sure you will,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. I think another important thing is like preparedness too. Like in terms of performance, like the more you prepare, and you know what you're doing, that all you have to do is execute it, right?
Right.
Like, so then that leaves very little room for anything to go wrong, because all you have to do is do exactly what you've already done before.
Exactly. I love that.
You're just executing it. So that's what I remind myself when we take it to stage, is like, I played this set 10 times now through. Like, I know it's going to happen. I know what to do. So just execute it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wesley. I'm so thankful for you being here today. And I know that you have so much going on with your time. So thank you. I know it's precious. Really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Don. I appreciate it.
So remember, guys, if you haven't seen any of his older videos, there's some up on the YouTube channel from 2018. But I know it's a while ago, but he's still rocking. So check him out and pick up a new CD and a t-shirt and their frisbee, and go frisbee around the park this summer, because it's going to be a fun summer and you don't want to miss out, right? So there's something to do out in the park and at the beach. Just don't hit anybody in the head with it, okay? Because that won't be fun. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future podcasts, because we're going to have an amazing lineup coming out this year, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Remember, it's never too late to live the life of your dreams and leave a trailblazing behind you. So rock on and rock out, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Woo.
Bye for now.
Bye.